Welcome to the simpliHOM podcast, where we educate, inspire, and entertain real estate entrepreneurs seeking a casual and practical podcast. We're here to simplify your life and business.
You can find growth anywhere. And as long as you have an open mind and take those opportunities to learn, then you're going to grow from it.
The easiest thing too is just always being in your zone of genius. What you are passionate about and are good at.
The mindset shift is drastic when you're thinking of I am this person as opposed to I want to become or one day I will be is huge.
I feel like a lot of real estate companies have been putting a focus on themselves, basically. Recently, we've been putting it on the agents, and that's when our socials have been doing the best. It's become really personal, and we've gotten a lot more traction. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the simpliHOM podcast. My name is Sarah Wiley Armstrong, and I am going to be hosting today, and most of the time. I always say today, and everyone's like, you kind of always
You are the
do.
host.
Wait, I forgot.
I forget, but yes, I am going to go around the table and introduce everyone that I'm here with today. We're one man short, but I'm here with Kyle Mann, the myth, the legend. I also can't speak, so that's
all
great.
The things.
He is
What's
all
up,
the
guys?
things.
I thought you were Amandalith. I was like, what's Amandalith?
Amanda, that's a interesting name.
Sounds like a Star Wars character.
It's just me. My brain's on
does.
It's just frazzled. Whatever. And then I'm also here with Shy Mike Q, our fierce leader, our CEO, our kind of everything.
The pilot of our dreams.
Yes, he just kind of does everything, honestly. And lastly, I'm here with Grant Brotan on the ones and twos, just switching us up.
Art's not here, so say
RG
what's
over
up.
there.
He's always going to give us a little sound.
Yeah, I said
the
Brett's not
background.
here, so he'll say what's up. What's up? But
Yeah, so Brett is doing some work today.
He
We
pulled
miss
his
him.
hamstring, so he couldn't be on the podcast.
I just
straight up called him out.
I thought he was joking. He was like, "I'm just mentally not here today," and I
thought it was something.
I thought it was gonna be something. I was
Yeah.
like, "Brett, do you need a hug? Like, are you okay?" And he was like, "Brett, we love you so much," but he doesn't listen to the podcast, so he's not gonna hear this. And
I mean, same. So you guys can say all sorts of
yeah,
stuff.
I listened to what he said, and the first thing was, "Yeah, I just pulled my hamstring yesterday."
And I'm
or
so
tweaked-
mad about
I'm
it.
so mad about it. Yeah, I can't get in the right headspace.
He is so goofy.
I was supposed to play in a softball game tonight. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Ooh, you big rebel, you.
The thing about Brett, if you don't know it, which you probably have if you've listened to any episodes, or if you're new, he is a very intense person, and intensity can lead to obsession, and he is just a very passionate person.
Yes.
And so he's passionate about fitness. He's passionate about something hurting on his body. He's passionate about macros.
Yes, he's very passionate about macros.
Macros.
So that is Brett in a nutshell. But today,
So he's
Just doing him dirty while he's gone. Brett
That
loves
is-
intensity and macros.
and Ryan.
He went on a binge of going to the chiropractor all the time.
It was like once a day almost.
But he didn't tell me it was the chiropractor. He was just like, hey, I'm at the doc. And so like the first time I was like, so is it a boy or a girl? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're at the doc a lot. And then like the last time he was like, I'm at the doctor. I was like, bro, just tell him to give you a penicillin or something. And he goes, it's the chiropractor, bro. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, now at least I know it's a chiropractor, so it's good.
He makes me laugh.
I
we
love
love Brett.
I love the kid.
We love
We
you.
do. That is his story. And speaking of stories, we're going to kind of dig into some
Oh, look at
stories
that little
today.
segue.
Queen of segues.
She just nailed that one.
You know me. Kyle posted some great questions today, so I'm going to pitch it over to him, and he's going to kind of start us off and get us diving into the
Kyle's
info
one of the more
today.
curious individuals I've ever met.
He is.
Oh, thanks.
He is
not a
well
bad thing.
researched.
Also known as I overthink things. So
There's just a little anxiety
no.
sprinkled in there. No big deal.
No, so I was
yeah.
just in a meeting, and in the meeting, the individual I was meeting with said, I don't like to call people know-it-alls. I like to call them learn-it-alls. And I felt like that was that's actually a good descriptor of you. Like, you
I was
love
about
to
to-
learn.
Wait,
No, you love to learn. It's not
yeah.
a bad thing. Don't overanalyze it over
I'm
here,
not
Mr.
gonna-
Curious.
I'm not going to
You're
call
not
you
a
a know-it-all,
but you're a
learn it
learn-it-all.
The vernacular changed.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you.
I'm done with storytelling.
Next
Next topic.
I genuinely appreciate that. No, so So one of the things that I've started doing, and you recommended the book, Sean, Story Brand.
Only because I couldn't finish it.
Well, yeah.
Someone had to.
So when I first started here, we were doing orientations. There was no parameters on like what to talk about. You're just like, talk about video services. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm also going to lecture the agents on the hero's journey.
We love it.
I got rid of that pretty quick.
Well, we got rid of your segment.
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
You're just,
Yeah, I had to. We had to let it down softly. It's fine.
It started out like 45 minutes and then it just went down. But anyway, I'm not bitter. But ultimately, the goal is to try to help agents tell their story, because every agent knows that they have to tell their story, but not every agent knows how to do that or what that looks like.
Yeah.
Especially in a digital world, we're on social media, what to post, how to post it, blah, blah, blah. So I thought today we could start our own little hero's journey across the hero's journey. The book Story Brand.
By Donald Miller, which is a fantastic book, by the way.
It is an amazing book, and all it is
At least the first half is. That's all Sean knows about.
No, I mentally, I'm not Kyle. Kyle is fantastic in the creative. No. He's great at building stories.
He's the man who can intake so much self-help and turn it into something you learn.
I need a lot of help.
Don't we all? But on the story side, like, you build stories for fun with your, or you used to. I don't know if you still do.
Yeah.
But like, that's an escape for you.
Yeah.
For me, it's not a passion. Like, I absolutely can't get into the weeds over there. Like, I know what I want to say, but like the actual like define who the hero is, I'm like,
yeah. If you try to force
it's
a passion, it becomes miserable.
It's a person
between the ages of 0 and 120.
Wears a costume. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of, I figured if this is something that adds value to agents on how they can better tell their story. And I also know too, Sean, you've mentioned on the podcast before that in order for you to better tell your story, you started researching comedy and comedians and stand-up comedians.
That was, for me, that was just to get better at telling stories in general, not my story,
right,
in particular. But yeah, like I was the person. I love you, Mom. My mom is this person. she'll start to tell a story, and then she'll like go down the rabbit hole of details that are totally unnecessary to the culmination of the story, and then like gets lost on the way back to the ending. And I was that person, like through and through. I was the epitome of that person. And so I felt like, for me, I would watch people. I would go out to social gatherings at a bar or something, right? And like, there's always that one person who's great at telling stories, who can captivate an audience and bring their attention in. And I would watch them and be like, God, why can't I do that? And then I would go to tell a story and everyone would trail off and be like, I'm like, really?
The worst. I am the person that when that's happening, I'll just look at them and be like, I'm still listening. I've got you.
Yeah. So, and what was interesting is I watched one special on YouTube about Kevin Hart in particular. And Kevin Hart, he's a little guy. Yeah. Tiny little guy, 5'4" or whatever. And if you watch him and he goes to tell a story and people aren't paying attention, he'll be like, no, listen to this. And like, it's a way to like re-engage and pull people back in. Like, listen. You gotta hear this. Yeah. And it's just like this thing that re-engages. So anyway, I was in that moment watching people able to tell stories, and I was not that person. And so I wanted to better myself so I could capture an audience or entertain an audience or whatever. And it's actually served really well for me to like, I know it sounds stupid. I research by watching comedy, but really there's a lot 100%. You can learn. And YouTube, my God, you can learn anything on YouTube.
I love YouTube.
Yeah, and there's a difference between like watching it and studying it, which is what you were doing.
But there's like breakdowns. Like you can go on YouTube and there's people who like break down like the Kevin Hart thing I just brought up, right? Like they're like, all right, so in this clip we're gonna show where Kevin Hart does this, and then they'll show another clip and another clip and another clip and another clip of him doing that same thing.
Was it tough to start putting it into practice?
I don't think so, but that's my kind of way, I guess, is just like I can see something or hear something and like instantly implement it if it makes sense. Not everyone's that way. Some people are going to be highly analytical.
Sean will like take a piece of information and it just sticks in his brain, like numbers.
Oh well, yeah.
This man can recall your phone number.
Can't relate.
That you told him 8 months ago.
Please don't put me on the spot. Yeah.
No. Okay. Early on, I noticed he was like, what's your phone number? Blah, 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 blah. I almost said it, by the way. Me.
555-555-555.
I was like, how'd you? It's just an impressive skill, I've noticed.
That's one of my favorites, by the way. Is it Dave Chappelle, I think? And he's talking about 555-5555. Yes, is Indiana Jones here?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It is hilarious. Anyway, all right, carry on. I'm sorry.
Oh, well.
No, we were just listening to you
hijacked.
discuss it. Yeah.
No. I actually think that you, that's a little tip that you can do if you're already doing videos and you want to capture, as we know that the first few seconds are vital on social media specifically, using a tactic like that, like, hey, like listen, like little audio cues you can do to help grab attention. But so if you don't know what the hero's journey is, I'm not going to explain the whole thing. You can easily find it. There's a graphic that I always like to use. It's a simple photo with everything on it.
Literally pull it up on your phone right now.
Oh yeah, well it's already pulled up.
He's like, so glad you mentioned it.
So glad you mentioned it. And I'll actually, I don't know where we can post this. Maybe we can tag a link under the description because you can see it right now. But it's a step, and most movies follow that same pattern. They may switch it up a little bit, but usually the movies you never hear about were the ones that tried to break the rules too much. Donald Miller talks about that in his book.
StoryBrand. Yep.
StoryBrand. And so StoryBrand takes the hero's journey and applies specifically to brand messaging. So if you're an agent and you're wondering how you can apply storytelling principles to your marketing, to your social media, to your brand messaging, I highly recommend you read that book. So, but the first thing is, like in the hero's journey, you have a character who meets a guide that calls him to action. So, the hero, despite what you think, is not you, especially when you're marketing to other people.
And if it is, in your mind, you're wrong.
Yes, 100%.
Facts.
Yeah. Because nobody wants to know more about you, the hero. They want you to be their guide to help them become the hero of their own life.
Yep.
So your client is the hero. But I wanted to talk about, there's a moment, and tying this back to how they can use this to post to social media. In these 12 steps, depending on where you find it, there's a moment in a hero's journey, and we go through this multiple times in our lives throughout the day. You can take this to the micro, the macro of your life and break it down using this structure. So if you don't know what to post, you could just pick one of these moments on the hero's journey and talk about that moment. So I figured today we could talk about, we have a character that has a problem. So if we are the heroes in this scenario, talking about our story, we have these moments in our lives when things are normal, when life is going as planned, and then we encounter a problem. 3 different types of problem. There's internal, external, and philosophical. And philosophical, those are the ones that get people to move, to make drastic change in their life. And that is something inherently wrong in the world that you see that is stopping you from doing what you want to do.
Gotcha.
If you can relate to somebody on that, and there's a few examples of what some philosophical problems that humanity as a whole has.
Yeah.
Like, for example, bad things happening to good people. That's a philosophical problem that people deal with. Like, why is this? Like, so you go and you make it a mission to try to prevent that from happening in life. That's a greater cause than you. And that's kind of the move. So I don't know if you guys have a moment or have anywhere in your life where you encountered a problem like that. Whether
I've encountered plenty of problems. I've also caused plenty of problems.
Hey.
This is the philosophical aspect in my mind is the explanation of services. That's why I think a lot of times in an elevator pitch, as a salesperson in any capacity, whether it's real estate or unrelated, an explanation of services, aka a statement of your beliefs, is something that is really powerful because in that first 5 seconds,
Yes.
you know, hey, we have the same philosophies, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, if there's that connection, you could just solve that problem potentially. You at least opened up the conversation to go more into depth over the details of the internal, externals,
Right.
whatever. And so that's something like we've tried to implement. And honestly, it kind of backfired in a web design way for me recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember on the on joinsimpliHOM.com, which if you're an agent, you don't love where you are, even if you do love where you are, you'll love it here more. Go to joinsimpliHOM.com.
Happens every day.
Plug.
Happens every day.
But on Join Simply Home, I had put our core beliefs on there. So it was like header and then core beliefs. And I put, we work with agents who believe blah. That was our explanation of services moment, essentially. And it was not helpful for any recruiting efforts. And I don't know why necessarily.
Yeah,
because in
weird.
a conversation, I can say we believe in putting people first. And people go, yeah, me too.
There's something about reading it.
Something about reading it.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody reads. I don't know.
Well, do we want to talk about when we did a dive on what agents said that they were looking for?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, so we were thinking about, and this all was sparked from this book, really.
It was, yeah.
And we took a look at what agents, when they joined the site, we could track what it is they were looking for. And they could pick multiple things. We ended up refining that a little bit later to where we could restrict the amount of things that they could pick. But we had things like support, technology. Did we have better splits? I can't remember what it was.
I'm trying to remember the visual. I see it in my head. I just can't remember the details.
But ultimately, the number one thing, overwhelmingly, was support.
Yeah.
That was the one thing agents were looking for in their next brokerage when they signed up with us. And that not completely, but it definitely it showed light.
It surprised me.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I thought it would be money or time, really. And time was...
time was near
the bottom. I was like...
That's weird.
What? Who doesn't want more time?
Yeah. So...
Non-busy people.
Not yet.
Time. That's
yeah,
the
exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. But those are all... oh, man. First one of the day. It happened. But those are...
Brain fart.
Those are actually external problems.
Yes.
Those are things like having more time is an external problem. It's not a philosophical problem. And the philosophical
could be
problem,
an internal.
And it could be an internal as well. But really the philosophical one, which ties back to kind of this looking back at our branding that you had done at the beginning of the company that we didn't really push all that much, which was making real estate simple.
Yeah.
And I think that addresses
all of those
things, making everything simple. And I think that when in a life where everybody feels like too much is going on, and especially in a world where we feel like everything is so chaotic, the importance of simplicity is what kind of
people are after.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, as we were going through that was something we did. So you can do the same thing if you Google philosophical problems of mankind, of humans. Like there are so many, you can spend, I did one day, spent hours just spiraling in it, and you get into philosophy and all this stuff. You don't have to go that deep. Think about it in your own life when there was a moment when you were living your normal life and then you encountered a problem that was bigger than you. That was a moment, a switch when something turned on for you and you were like, okay, I have to do something about that. Mm-hmm. Pick that moment and the chances are you've gone through multiples of these in your life and you can talk about that. And the thing is, no matter what the topic is, like people are going to relate with you because it's a universal truth. Like everyone encounters these deep philosophical problems of good versus evil, order and chaos, like all these different things. So you can relate to humans on that end. It doesn't have to be about real estate. And I think that's a huge key.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I would not think it would be the best thing to brand your entire life to real estate.
Oh, 100%.
Like brand your life and then put it in real estate.
Yeah, if you are an interesting person, and you are, everyone
but
is.
If you're not,
if you're boring, this is not for you.
What I mean is, like, to a degree, everyone goes. I don't know if in its simplest form, we're all the same. We are all going through the same things, and that's one reassuring, knowing that you are not alone. To know that like there are people that struggle with the same things that you do. Mm-hmm. But also, too, you are unique in how you've handled them and the environment in which you handled them. That's what makes it unique. So I think that can provide insight for somebody who may be going through the same thing or who is going through the same thing that you've been through. And at that point, if you've identified an issue that you had and you talk about how you got over it, you
feel felt found.
Feel felt found. You want to talk about that? You want to expand it? I mean, we know.
Sorry.
Yeah, we know what it is, but
Feel Felt Found is a script kind of thing. I guess you'd call it a script for relating to someone. So I understand how you feel. I felt the exact same way when I was going through that situation. But what I found was X was the solution. It's just a guide.
That's weird because that's the first 3 steps of the hero's journey, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're intentionally correlated, but probably all relate to story.
Yeah.
I was about to say, just like you said, we're all the same.
Well, I mean, it's just it's a
Nothing's
connect.
unique.
It's a connect point. And it's a way to form that connection.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that it's in the story. I wish I watched more movies so that I could see these things play out.
What's the last movie you watched, Sean? This is telling.
Dude, Where's My Car? 2001.
I watched Fast and the Furious when I was sick with COVID, and then I got pulled over and yelled at. Remember?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever seen Fast and the Furious, though. So I watched all of them.
Oh my gosh. There's
Aren't there like 14 of them?
8 or something?
I think
There's
it's like 8 or 9.
9. I think it's 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I was sick with the vid, and my life smelled like vinegar, so there was nothing else to do.
Very solid.
No, Samantha went on a Ryan Reynolds kick for a minute, so we watched.
He's funny.
He is funny. What was that? There's a new one on Netflix, The Adam Project. Or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
I
that.
haven't seen
That
it
was
yet.
that was entertaining. I can't wait for Top Gun 2 though.
Oh, dude.
We have got to rent the freaking theater.
I mean,
You
it's
think
not that
IMAX?
expensive.
No, it's not.
It's not very
It's not.
expensive to rent it. And
I keep asking Nicholas. I'm like, bro, like,
Come on, man.
go ahead and like pre-sell it to us so we can get it for premiere night.
How fun would that be?
Just
oh
a
my
whole
goodness.
simpliHOM, like homies come out, 100 people go
The
watch
amount of
Top
high
Gun.
fives in that room.
Oh my god.
Honestly,
We're talking about building a brand.
Oh, yeah.
You build it around someone
Yeah.
else's brand.
that would be a fun Simply Connect.
I think so,
Dude.
yeah. May 27th. I
A
will
4-hour Simply Connect.
4 hours.
Well, I mean,
So we can watch it
assuming
twice.
like, yeah, IMAX and then Dolby.
Well, so that was a thing. Nicholas said that he thinks Dolby's better than IMAX, but they filmed
Yeah.
it for IMAX, so I'm having a hard time with that one.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of, I could nerd out.
Do you have to
about
wear the glasses, right? In IMAX?
that. Nope. It's just a really big screen.
Oh, really?
Like it's like 5 stories or something like that. I can't remember.
Ooh.
Maybe
That
we
might be a
should
bit
book.
much.
Can we book both?
You've never been to an IMAX?
What? Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
He grew up in BFE somewhere else.
Yeah, he lived on the in the tundra up north.
in the tundra.
They had sleds and projectors.
Not
he
much
has
else.
he has a husky and a snowmobile.
That's how he got.
That's how he gets to work every day.
Yeah.
He takes a snowmobile on the interstate. So there's so many potholes.
So if you're wondering why it's shut down to 1 lane on I-24,
Yeah.
which happened to me the other day,
Wait,
I was
what?
The
Again?
it's the dog pole lane.
yeah. Well, I was trying to get home from Murfreesboro back to Hendersonville, and the GPS said 45 minutes, and then I looked again, and it said 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it was right. Surprise!
Last time I got stuck on the interstate was when that tanker truck flipped over and spilled 800, however many thousands of gallons, 8,000 gallons, I think, on the
Yeah.
interstate. And I lucked out to be on the front of that, like close enough to the front of it that I escaped within an hour and a half or 2 hours, something like that. But they had to shut down the entire day. And I was
Yeah.
like on Instagram, like, hey, I know some of you losers that I'm friends with on here have helicopters. Please
That's the
come
best way
save
to
me.
get help is to call everyone a
I didn't
loser.
Yeah,
call
yeah.
everybody a loser, just the ones that didn't help, and nobody helped. I flipped it like a coin, like in
I was like, how did you
dummy,
catch
and
it,
then
though?
I caught it in the microphone, so it spiked, and everybody hates me now.
He's playing with a coaster that we have on our table here at the simpliHOM
It's like a little
studio.
fidget spinner.
Which you would know if you were watching on Spotify
Yeah,
or
watch.
YouTube.
Wait, you can watch on Spotify?
Yeah, dude, we're one of the few.
Oh, wow.
We have video
What?
podcasts on Spotify.
Oh, we fancy though.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
fancy like-
Fancy like
So-
Applebee's.
So this
Oh, yes.
is
Oh, back to that whole storytelling.
yeah. Stories. I really truthfully think that one of the best ways to learn, because so many people are going to look at this, overanalyze it, and shut down, just like I did.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And so that was the only reason I didn't finish the book. I got halfway through and I was like, you're going to love this. You should start on page 57.
It takes time and silence.
It does. It does. And it's a very helpful book because it's one of those books that you can go through and like actually put it into practice as you're working through it. It's almost a workbook read.
Yeah,
if that
yeah.
makes sense.
And they also have free like you don't have to buy the book. You can download the PDF. So it's like they have a short and abbreviated guidebook too.
Yeah, they do. And then they have the free website where you can actually build it, which is awesome. I think though that one of the best ways that if you're listening to this and you're struggling with your identity, this would be a really helpful way to define that identity as far as what is my role in the lives of the people I serve.
Yes.
And first, make sure that you have the mindset that you're serving because that's a really important piece.
Well said.
But then if you're really struggling with storytelling, because to me, storytelling and story branding are two very different things.
100%.
Story branding is this: create your identity, create the character, create the hero, create the guide, etc.
Yep.
All very, very, very important pieces of a marketing strategy for your business. Correct. But the act of actually storytelling, I truthfully, because it's worked great for me, I think watching comedians and watching that breakdown, there's nothing, I cannot imagine what it would be like to go stand on a stage in a comedy house and try to get people to laugh. Like you have to be
because you're not everyone's cup of tea. That's
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like you're not preying on, but like the thing that you have to rely on in that stance, in my opinion, is relatability, right? Like the more relatable a joke is, the funnier it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's personality or circumstance, right?
There are a lot of comedians who lost their comedic edge, for lack of a better phrase, because they became too wealthy, and then the content they talked about was no longer relatable with the people that they were talking to. Like
Jeff Foxworthy, right?
Yep.
The redneck series.
Yep.
You might be a redneck right?
Yep.
Like that, in my opinion, made Jeff Foxworthy a household name.
Yes.
And it was relatable across so many spectrums, and these are all just my thoughts and opinions. This is not like verifiable scientific fact, so don't send letters. But what made it relatable was he's making fun of himself a little bit. He's making fun of the people who were his avid listeners at the time, and then everybody else in Hollywood and surrounding always makes fun of Southerners anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though Southerners are smarter. You're welcome, Hollywood. I grew up there, so I can say that. But they laughed because they're like, ha, 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 we're making fun of those people we already make fun of. Yeah. Southerners laughed because they're like, yeah, that's everyday life. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's Bob. Right. That's my brother, yeah.
So, but it's the relatability aspect, right? Yeah. Angela Johnson, right? Yep. She blew up with the nail salon thing. Yeah. Because women all over America were like, yep, been there.
Know that experience.
And it's hilarious. And I find, Kevin Hart's hilarious. I don't really get with his stand-up too terribly much. He's just kind of funny in the slapstick humor kind of way.
He's very,
there is someone, I cannot think of his name right now, and this is going to irritate me, but he doesn't even have any, like, dirty humor really, but he is so relatable and funny. I think he's from Nashville.
Oh, Burgatsky?
Yes, he has dead eyes.
Yeah.
He has the eyes of a dead man.
Nate Burgat, something like that.
Burgatsky or
He was
something.
at my son's birthday party, we didn't invite him.
But he was there. A 5-year-old's party.
He was there with his kids at a trampoline at Urban Air in Cool Springs.
He is funny.
He
can tell a story. And when you look in his eyes, it's like
nothing.
Well, okay, so Trey Kennedy on Instagram, too, right? Yeah. Like he went from like nobody, like being a nobody with. Sorry, Trey, if you listen to this.
I'm sure this is what he feeds off of.
Probably. No, but like he's got 2.5 million followers now on Instagram. And if you're a realtor or an entrepreneur in general and you need to build a brand, you need to really look in these directions of people who are doing these types of things. And like his content is just relatable and hilarious. I shared the Christmas one with you, right? And it was just funny. And if you have kids, you get it. If you don't have kids, you don't. But those are the things like, if you just watch and learn from every interaction And that was something that I was in a meeting in November up in Detroit with a CEO of a company with 9,500 employees doing $200-something billion in sales every year. And he individually at 40-something years old is worth $12 billion, I think, now. And so like you don't always get the opportunity to have conversations with those individuals, right? At that level. And so I asked him, and I think I've mentioned this in the podcast before, but I asked him, who were your mentors on your way up? And his response was, I learn from every interaction. And he's like, I can talk to the janitor and learn something. I can talk to a sales rep and learn something. I can talk to a president of another company and learn something. And you need to be sure that the things that you're doing, you're taking pieces of information from all of those interactions. You're not going to learn 100% of 100%, but you might learn like 3%. And the same thing with this. Like if you need to build your brand, there are plenty of people out there who build very successful brands as individuals, which is where the focus needs to be, in my opinion, if you're a realtor specifically, because you're building your own individual brand. And you don't even have to look at the people in real estate that are building a brand.
No, I encourage you to
like look outside of it.
Because
people in real estate are historically pretty damn boring. When it comes to brand building, there's like zero creativity. And I think that's one of the things that sets simpliHOM apart is like we look outside of real estate industry norms specifically to identify solutions, software, etc., that provides a better experience for our agents or clients, etc. And so if you're out here and you're like, I don't know the first step is learning. Just go out there and identify, and eventually you're going to find someone that you go, oh, you know what? I really like that method, or I like that approach, or whatever. And it's something that I relate to, or I feel that I could do. And then that's going to empower you to go build your brand.
100%. So because not everybody can do comedy, obviously. If you're the type of person who's very analytical, you can still make relatable content for other analytical people.
It's so beautiful that but like short content is the thing right now. If you can just be relatable for 6 seconds, you've got it going.
Oh man, we got Vine coming back, huh?
Well, shorter videos are doing you have longer videos. People are wanting longer ones on TikTok, but then you're also seeing like on Reels and stuff that your 6 to 7 second videos are doing better than your 30-second.
Algorithmically or just?
Yes, because I mean our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. Think about it. Like
because we're giving people 6-second content.
If there's a 30-second video or a 2-minute video, how often? Because TikTok allows you to skip through it now. So I'm scrubbing. I mean, I see the beginning where it's like, oh, stay tuned to watch what I do with this pair of shorts, whatever.
Just go straight to the end.
And you get straight to the end to see if it's worth it. Or, shorts. Oh, I'm cleaning this, blah, blah, blah. Stay tuned for results. Buddy, I'm scrubbing to the end right there. So, I mean, our attention spans are getting shorter. So if you can, I mean, it's better if you can tell your story in 6 seconds, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to, also know the platform that you best communicate with. So I personally, that is a struggle for me. Like doing 6 second pieces of content.
Say that 6 times fast.
I can't. I won't. But I enjoy what I consume. I consume content on average that's over 20 minutes. Most of the stuff I consume is over 20 minutes, and that's on YouTube. That's on really, it's the platforms that I Spotify and YouTube are my 2 primary sources of entertainment, or if I'm looking something up. Now, if I'm looking up tips, if I need to know how to do something, like that video better be like between
shorter the better. I'm gonna set it to 1.5 speed and we're rolling through this.
I don't need the vlog beforehand. I don't need the vlog after. Worst. I just want the answer to the problem. And so if you, depending on the type of content you're creating, like doing a reel, some of my favorite reels that I see are like, this is how you do this. And it's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, I want to save this. I have so many bookmarked reels that are just like, here's how to do this thing. And I think that's a great format for that.
every single reel that I get shown is an airplane doing something airplanes do.
Yeah.
I think about sending them to you when I see them.
The algorithm has really picked up on what Sean loves.
Like, oh, you like airplanes? All right, here's more
That's
airplanes.
all you see. I know you make the mistake of just really interacting with one video one time, and then you get a bunch of sad animal stories.
Yeah.
But-
It's like, how am I here?
But on that topic, I think when you go into this whole building your brand, I think it's good to have a clean palette.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to go in this one mindset that you're in. I feel the same way about personality tests.
Yeah.
If you go into a personality test and you're in a weird mood, you're going to get a weird result.
Yeah.
Right? And if you go into building a brand and you're in a weird headspace, maybe you're consuming too much news or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to get a weird result in the brand that you're trying to build because you're trying to relate to an unnatural version of yourself.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I would recommend is specifically if you're a consumer in information, right? Because there are some people who just like to contribute information, create information, whatever. But then there are those people who they just scroll reels all day or Instagram all day because that's just their disconnect or whatever they think. But really, you're just being sucked further down the rabbit hole of the algorithms, right?
Exactly.
And so I went through this thing where post-election, and I'll be honest, my social media habits weren't great leading up to that last election.
Yeah.
But post-election, I got so sick of hearing everyone's political opinions that I made a point to go in and unfollow and sometimes even block all of these different sources, whether it was media sources or celebrities inside of a particular space, whatever, just to clear it out mentally. Because then I got a fresh algorithm.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm didn't know what to do. I just went, I was like, delete, 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 delete. And then I would go to the search and it was just everything. And I was like, I'm going to start
And we're
fresh.
back.
Yeah.
Nature pictures,
Yeah.
I find pictures of peace,
I
Yeah.
have a buddy of mine. He does. So he's a drone. He owns a drone company, and they also do regular video.
Yeah.
But he, for his business, he had a Facebook. He deleted his Facebook account, started a new one, and then only used it to comment on and reach out to producers, video content creators, all these. So that's all he got. All the notifications were, if there was a notification, it was a business opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like it can be debilitating too. You see so much, we're in such a saturated content market right now. And so it can be so debilitating to even start.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've even chatted about that before where it's I have all these great ideas, but it's just actually, and you create content all the time, especially for simpliHOM. And so for you to say personally, you're at this place where you have all these great ideas and it's not even making them come to life, but I don't even know how to explain it, but I know a lot of people have said that. It's we're intaking so much that the thought of us actually doing it is just mind-boggling. And that happened for me. I was like, you know what? I enjoy creating content, so why am I not doing it? And I just got to a point where I was like, okay, here I go. And I did it. And
I watched your vlog, by the way.
what did you think?
I liked it.
Do you promise?
Oh my God. She always asks me this.
I
she does that,
said
you
that
say
to
no.
everyone.
Yeah.
I said it to everyone. Sorry, I should have done this hand, but
It's
instead we
okay.
did
It was just an awkward little bend with a.
It was like trying to shake your own hand. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. What's the worst? That someone makes fun of you for making a reel or posting a TikTok or making a YouTube video? The first one's never going to be perfect. And that was kind of what was debilitating for me was I work with so many great video editors and people who work in video. So to me, there are going to be eyes on me that are going to know much better of what I'm doing and see the mistakes that I'm making. But
There's gonna be thousands who don't.
exactly. And I'm never going to get better if I don't create it and I don't do what I love.
That's the conflict I have, is that I spend a lot of time on polished content. So for me to do something that is,
Whose fault is that? My bad.
that's the type of content I enjoy creating. So it's intimidating to know that okay,
Unpolished right now is the thing.
Well, and even then, I look at I'm a representative of simpliHOM. So if I put out content that is less than, and they're like, wait, this is their video guy? Those are all
Man, everybody's going to look and be like, oh,
No,
he's
I do
definitely a
get
creative.
But But I do get that. Like, there are certain things,
Yeah.
like, I know I'm not going to say or do because I know I'm representing more than myself. And that comes with your brand and
Right.
who you are when you're creating that brand.
Man, we've built a brand that you guys self-censor, and we don't even have to put it in the paperwork. I love it.
There we go.
And it's always been like that for me.
Yeah.
I cheered on a team that was, there were a lot of eyes on us when I was in high school. People did not want us to make it to nationals. I know that's like the most.
No, I mean,
Now-
that's adversity. That's an enemy. You
Yes,
know?
but people wanted
That's in
us
the
to
hero's
fail.
journey.
It is in the hero's journey.
Yeah.
So people wanted us to fail. People were watching us. So we had to watch what we were posting. Same in college because you're representative of the university as a cheerleader. And so we had people get in trouble all the time for the things that they were saying or wearing or doing. And I'm not saying, oh, you can't
Right.
wear that. But
You do have to think
we
about
signed
that.
paperwork that said we were going to look out for that. You don't need to be drinking and doing drugs, obviously, if
Right. Yeah, and posting them on social
and
media.
Yeah.
From a relatability standpoint, there are a lot of people that want you to fail.
Yeah,
If you're listening right now, people want you to fail. And it's all the people that you're in a comfort zone with.
They want you to stay with them.
Absolutely.
No one successful is ever going to look down on you and come at you. It's always the people that are under you. It's
Yeah.
never the people that are above you because
Yeah, the people under you are trying to pull you back.
when has so and so ever been like, you know what?
And why is
I
it-
hope you're not able to post that today. I hope that you're not able to onboard this person or get this listing email out. No,
Yeah.
I hope you have a typo. No one is saying that that's actually successful. It's the people that want to be where you're at and are jealous of where you're at, and they're not doing the work to get there themselves.
Why is it that in the college thing stuck out in my head?
Yeah.
That they take the athletes and
Oh, not all of them.
well, correct. But they like have the athletes sign these things that say you're going to do this and you're going to operate at this higher standard.
Yeah.
But why do we allow so many others to just do whatever they want?
I mean, that's a great question.
Right? Like even like in
Visibility, probably.
I guess
I don't
or
know.
just fear of people not wanting to go there.
Oh, so why are they censoring? Yeah, it's probably they're trying to maintain an image, and they're the most visible people,
Yeah.
and
I
so
mean,
they
the
have.
people
That's
are-
the only thing they can.
The school's
I don't
posting
know.
I
pictures
guess
of
the
you.
only
It's
thing they
very
can
easy
control,
to get back.
but really it's like I really wish people would start holding people to a higher standard.
Like
Oh,
everybody-
100%. And I thought of it as that, as them holding us to a higher standard because
Yeah.
honestly, like with athletics in college, you didn't have a lot of time to waste. And
Yeah.
so you needed to be held to a higher standard. If you didn't get good grades, if you were doing this, you did need to be.
Yeah, we just need to
I wouldn't
hold
say the word
people in
pu-
general
Exactly.
to a higher standard.
And so I think if you start with one group, like I think the hope is that it goes out and spreads, and
They're the
it's like,
leaders and
it's like
the-
cancer. A bad attitude is going to spread to your team. So
Attitude
a good
reflects
attitude,
leadership, Captain.
yes.
Yeah. Name that movie.
Your altitude
can't.
is almost always determined by your attitude. So
Okay, John Maxwell quotes. I got you.
Remember
I mean,
the
it's
Titans.
true.
So I want
Those
to.
remember the Titans quote.
Attitude
By the
reflects
way,
leadership.
did I send you the Ethan Suplee Instagram?
I don't think so. Did you?
Did I send it to you? Maybe not.
Mm.
That dude. What were the character? The big linebacker from.
No,
Remember
you
the
did.
Titans?
Yeah. His transformation.
Yo, like,
I think I saw you maybe Samantha reposted
It was
it.
probably her. Yeah. I mean, crazy.
Yeah. I
Like,
watched
he was
a
a
in-depth video on his entire workout routine.
Insane transformation. Like,
Yeah.
And then last night, this is the worst. I got inspired to not be lazy. It's a struggle for everyone.
Yeah,
all right?
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
And
if you're
everyone's struggle
listening-
is in a different area.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this, like, and you're struggling with like laziness, or you know you're not performing at your peak, or you know there are things you need to be doing on a daily basis that you're not, like, I struggle with the same
It's a
things.
universal truth.
Everybody struggles with the same things.
Yeah.
And for me, recently, my biggest struggle has been fitness. Like the thought of, and I haven't been sleeping well for a couple months, so I think that's like catching up. But the thought of like working out is just nauseating to
Yeah.
me. Specifically in like an individual workout setting.
Yeah.
So like, I'm playing softball tonight. Haha, Brett, sorry. No, but
Don't worry,
like,
Brett will be there too. Just
no, not
crying
in my
on the
game.
side.
Hopefully we're playing against each other. That'd be fun. By the way, I'm going down a bunch of by the ways. Don't you dare make a by the way reel about me.
Oh.
By the way. All right.
I love that he ended that sentence with "by the way." By the way, don't make that "by the way."
Yeah, that was on purpose. No, so, oh God, and then I just by the way'd myself all the way out of a thought.
By the way,
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I can feel it coming. Oh man.
I don't even know where this story is going.
Well,
where did you start?
I had
this
a
story
great
at?
one. I had a great something, and I lost it just now. Forced myself to lose it.
If I may, just if it comes back to you,
Yeah,
I want to tie it all together.
Yeah.
If you are an agent and you are looking for a way to tell your story, first of all, if you're looking for resources, stand-up comedy, I recommend that as well. If you study it, like the structure of it, when you're listening to it, like ask why. Why did he say it that way? Why does she do it this way? Whatever it may be.
And you're
Research
not going to
it.
be perfect when you go out.
And you're not
Practice
going to be
it.
perfect. And if you're not trying to be funny, if you want to be educational, like just watch people and then study them. And also know how you best communicate. Is it writing? Is it video? Is it photo? Like, what is it for you? Is it talking on a podcast? Find out how you like to communicate and start there, and find a way to adapt it to the platforms that, the people that you want to try to get. Identify what your client, your client better than anybody else. Is it first-time home buyers? Is it specific? I mean, you can even say, get down specifically. If you can imagine what they look like, what they sound like where they are in life, the things that they're struggling with, the better you can refine who you're trying to talk to, the more personal it's going to feel when they hear it. So identifying what their external, internal, and philosophical problems are. It takes time, but you can do it. And then finally, I want to, the third part of this is that they meet a mentor. You are that mentor. You have the guidebook. You have the system. You have the strategy. You have the expertise to let them know and to give them permission and give them the encouragement to take the step into buying a home, into, selling their home or buying their first investment property. Whatever it is, they have these fears and these problems that you can solve, but you are not the hero. So the first thing you have to have as a mentor is empathy, and then you have to have authority. So you have to be able to understand where they're coming from and then have the authority to give them the information that they need to be able to advance further in their life. And that's how you can take your client. And just doing that, 90% of businesses have already made that mistake from the get-go, thinking the hero. So you're already at an advantage.
Yeah, but not you.
Not you. No
That's
way.
a good recap.
Not no more.
I just realized I'm at an hour 21 of no food, so that's why I can't put together a thought.
You haven't hit ketosis yet? That'll spike it. That survival instinct will hit, and then your brain
I
will
don't know
just...
what that is, but nope.
All right.
Evidently
Not
not.
there yet. But yeah, so go ahead and start your hero's journey, and we're going to roll on out of here. But thank you guys for joining us for the simpliHOM podcast. We had a great time hanging out with you. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of the places, Anchor. Just check it out, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
See you.
Hey guys, it's Swy. Thank you for joining us this week,
All
and we really hope
right.
you got some useful information and we made your day a little bit better. If you're interested in joining the movement of realtors getting their time and life back, check us out at joinsimplihome.com on the browser, at simpliHOM on socials, or in the description. See you next week.